All right, guys, session number 13, Kingdom of Mysticka. Thanks again coming out. I'll try not to kill you guys off. But if we roll like we did last time, we are going to be screwed. Not to scare you, but...
well, let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's not just about how we roll, it's about how you roll, too.
That's true, too.
Yeah,
if I roll really awesome for the bad guys, we potentially could be screwed. Okay, so where we left off, I believe it was approaching, dinner time. We came back at around lunchtime from our morning hunt, and we were just exhausted, from our little bit of travels from the morning. And we went and did our own different things happening. But, it was about dinner time. And I think we completed a long rest, right? No, we didn't complete a long rest yet. No. So I think, Theron, you are wounded, Bill. And I believe you're out of... I think you're out of hit dice.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I am. Yep, I am.
But, approaching the evening, I think... the captain... He gives you some kind words, and he pretty much gives you compliments about your fighting out there. He said, "You did all right, kid. You did pretty good." And he uses his last charge of his amulet on you.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Cool.
Which, remind me, guys, because it's been a whole week, he still has one charge left, right? He never did use it? Or did he? Did he use a second charge?
I thought he...
No.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I only remember one use.
We're talking about his little healing trinket that he has, right?
He hasn't used it since we got here.
He used it once when we were fighting the last bunch of spiders on me, I thought, didn't he?
That's the last time.
He did.
He used it on Theron.
Oh, no, and then he used it the time before.
Oh, he
on
did?
Himself.
Did he?
It was on himself. So, he has no more charges. Yeah.
Okay.
My bad. He has no more charges. But he still compliments you.
Right on.
And he looks at your wounds and he says, you might want to get that looked at, Theron. We need to make sure we're fully refreshed tomorrow.
All right.
And, we all kind of lose sight. Like Deadeye's down here went to the meeting hall and he was eating. Remember, he got propositioned. The captain was meeting with Patrice. We all kind of did our own different thing. Erlon, you tried to, I guess...
bring some goodwill.
Well, I'm not sure what exactly his motivation was, but he wanted to bring some goodwill and cheer to the women of Shadow's Hold. Had an interesting experience in the woodworking district, went up and talked to a henna. And, of course, doesn't take much for you to swoon her. And Ghoul went back to his room and stuff just to hang out. But basically, it's dinner time, so... What do you guys want to do?
Well, this damn lady wants to eat with me, so that's what I'm going to do.
Well, that's right. The gardener.
That's right.
She likes projects.
Tana.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tana. Yeah, Tana.
Yep.
You guys head to the kitchens because you went onto the surface and you helped her finish up her chores with planting some more crops. And, so I'm just going to put you about right here, Theron.
Okay.
You can see that. Yeah, so you enjoy just a nice little conversation there. She does ask you, though. She says, so where were you headed before you got shipwrecked?
We were headed to Starport. Because we were at Blueport.
She says,
we headed...
Yeah, okay. That's correct. She says, I've heard lots of grand stories about Starport. She says, have you been to that great city before?
Theron says, I have not.
She says, I think you would like it. You would, Theron. It's just a sprawling city from what I hear. And you can see her eyes just kind of gaze off in the distance as if she's trying to recover some long-lost memory, but of course, she had already said that she was born and raised in Shadow's Hold, so, that's not possible. But clearly she's remembering a lot of the grand stories that have come from people that have been moving through Shadow's Hold. But, she just seems to have these grand ideas about the kingdom of Mysticka. And that's from your general conversation with her and the questions that she proceeds to ask you. She talks like Mysticka is like this great promised land, and she just seems so eager to be able to see it someday. And you can't help but maybe feel a little bit sorry for her. I don't know. You can decide how Theron feels, but a normal person might feel a little bit of empathy towards her. So take that for what you will. The captain you lose sight of for a while. He seems to just kind of be hanging around the kitchen, and you even glance over, and those who go to the meeting hall here during the evening to eat or whatever, you guys even notice the captain even helping to prepare some food. And he's just cracking jokes, and he has the women back here, Beatrice and some of her other helpers, just like laughing, and he's just telling them all sorts of stories, and he's just back there. And Erlen and Deadeyes, what do you guys want to do?
So, I want to talk to Ghoul. I'm going to tell Ghoul about, was it Yana? Yana? Whatever her name was.
Yeah, Yana.
I'll tell Ghoul about
Yep.
Yana's preposition, and I also want to tell Lady Agatha about... Agatha, that's what it
Lady
is.
Agatha.
Right.
Lady Agatha. Yep.
About
Okay.
what happened.
Okay, so first you go to Ghoul. Ghoul is at his room, and you kind of rap on the door. You don't have a key, but you know that Ghoul was given the key, so you think maybe he's still in the room. And you rap on it, and you hear Ghoul's voice.
I'll just say it's me, Deadeyes.
And,
I can go away if you want.
Oh, it's you. And you hear some footsteps from on the other side of the door. The doors kind of creak, and you see Ghoul, and he's holding this big, nice black carapace of the black rhinoceros spider, and he has a piece of cloth there, and you can see the horn, sticking out. That I don't know. I think it jabbed. I don't know if anyone got jabbed with it, but he seems to be kind of cleaning this piece up, and he's doing his best to polish it and to see. He's doing some work on it. You don't know what, but he seems to be doing something with it. But yeah, you go inside, and I guess to kind of get to the point, you tell him about this lady, and he says, she's probably just all talk. So I've come across lots of people back on the mainland that always threw threats out at me, but very few of them actually have the guts to go through with it.
Well, yeah, like her herself, but she did try to actually hire me with a rather expensive ruby. She might try to hire someone else who would have the guts to do it.
I see. And he says, well, I'm thankful for the warning. And he says, guess I'll have to watch my back. And his great axe was laying propped up against the bed, and he just grabs it and just runs a thumb across the edge of the blade, and he just looks at you with a smile. And he also has his helmet off right now, and this is one of the few times you've actually seen him without his helmet on, and he's just so freaking ugly. And he looks like an orc. Right? I mean, you just can't help but think, no wonder people probably want you dead, because their shock clearly looks like an orc. The human side of him is just very faint. Yeah. So, you have a few more words with him and stuff, and he says, you and Erlen going to do some more studying tonight?
Well, it wasn't in my plans. I don't know what he's up to. Plus, I saw he was trying to swoon some girls or something like that. You know how Erlen is.
Yeah, And he just seems to just, and then he goes back to just polishing with this rag. He's just running all over the shell and cleaning it up, trying to make it all nice and shiny. So you have a few more words stuff, and then you decide to depart, and you go all the way to the registry, and the registry is locked, and it seems to be closed. Yeah, but you think it's probably urgent to maybe go tell Lady Agatha about the proposition that came your way. So where do you want to head now?
So I want to go to Agatha's chambers and knock on the door there.
Okay.
Just down the main hall.
Yeah, check. I need to roll something real quick.
See if you get attacked on your way there.
Yeah, so you walk down the workshop district hall here, and you go back down to the living quarters, and you go to the main hall, and just at the end of the main hall, you approach Agatha's chambers, and you rap on the door. And you hear a man's voice. It sounds kind of familiar to you. Say, "Who is it?"
It's Deadeyes. I need to talk with Lady Agatha.
Can't you talk to her tomorrow?
Nope. She asked me to talk to her about this tonight.
And you faintly hear some talking back behind the door, but it's very muffled. And you hear a woman's voice that you would assume is Lady Agatha. And Lady Agatha then just speaks out. You hear her voice, and she says, "Just a second, Deadeyes." And after a few awkward moments of silence, or not silence, as you hear some movement behind the door, footsteps across the stone, right, come closer, and the door opens.
Are you in there alone?
And she says, I wish I had some witty comment about that. But, you don't hear anything, but you do see Agatha's face kind of go a little bit red, and she says, and she looks down the hall in both ways, and she says, come in. And you go inside?
I'll step in. Just take a quick step on the other side of the door.
And yeah, you step in, and you see some movement down. I don't know if you see that, like just down over there. And you see several beds in here and stuff, but you see Captain Thomond in there. And Captain Thomond is like, well, I hope this was really important. And he just seems kind of frustrated. He's not wearing his armor, but he's just wearing some clothes, and you notice his shirt is untucked. And yeah, he just nods at Lady Agatha and says, I'll just talk to you later. And he just grabs some things off of the table, and then he just heads out the door. It's just you and Lady Agatha. And she says, what can I help you with, Deadeyes?
I'll just look around and say, sorry for interrupting. I could be quick, but you asked us to report anything along these lines to you as soon as we could, and just wanted you to know that there was a individual here in Shadow's Hold named Yana, who asked me to kill Ghoul, and she offered to pay me a pretty significant sum, and I'll describe the ruby in like great detail as much as I can remember it, like what she offered, what she wanted me to do to like just attack him when he was unaware.
Okay, roll me an insight check. Yeah, you don't notice any change of emotion or expression or anything. But she says, I see. And she says, thank you for bringing this to my attention, Deadeyes. I will speak with Yon Thing in the morning.
Yeah, I imagine she
And
might
she
be
says, in the
expecting you.
I remember what you did.
and she looks at you curiously, and she says, expecting me?
Well,
And
I might have done something.
she just...
I might have done something a little magic-y. I'll kind of twiddle my fingers in the air to make her think that you overheard our conversation.
And she lets out a laugh, and she can't help but contain it. And she says, "You're a sly one, aren't you?" And
only accidentally.
She says, "Truth be told, I can see why Yana might have approached you. You see, you look quite different than anyone else who has told in years. Those strange tattoos all over your head and all over your body. It is quite strange, you must admit."
Oh, yeah. It is different.
Yeah, she says, "Well, hopefully we're able to stop a potential crime before it has been committed. It would sure be a shame to lose even a single soul."
Sure. We'll be watching out our own backs, as you can imagine, but I wanted you to be aware.
And she says, "Oh, and could you do me a favor?" As you know, you're starting to turn on your way out.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Can you, if you see Captain Thomond, can you tell him I would like to speak with him?"
And I'll give kind of like a half grin, nod, and say, "Sure thing." And I'll walk out the door.
And she just smiles at you again. And yeah, so you depart out of her chambers. And from what you did notice from her roll me a perception just to see how observant you were with things. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm glad you got those 5s on the way.
I am
Oh
very,
my
very
gosh.
drunk.
That's true.
That's true. You are pretty sloshed. Yeah. You didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. I mean, the only thing that maybe you would have noticed is you noticed that there's a lot of fine crafted, ornate furniture in her room. That's really the only thing that stood out to you. But yeah, you leave her chambers. Yeah, and you walk down the living quarters, and
Yeah, I'll actually.
happen to pass about. Oh, okay. So you're on your way out of the living quarters, and you're about right there, and you look down the hall, and you see Captain Thomond down the hall, and he is just coming out of a room, and he has his armor on.
Okay. I'll say,
And
"Good
he
captain."
sees you, and he says, "Oh, well met, Deadeyes. You get all your questions answered?"
I was able to report what needed to be reported. Lady Agatha asked me to see if you would be willing to return to her quarters and go over some of the more finer details you had been discussing previously.
Nice way to put
And
it.
he tilts his head at you, and he looks at you, and he starts chuckling to himself, and he looks at his armor, and then he lets out a sigh. And he turns around, and you lose sight of him as he goes through a door, and no doubt to probably go take his armor back off. And probably with that, you just depart further down the living quarters. And
Yep, I'm pretty much
yeah.
done for the evening. I'll just eat and rest after that.
Okay. Okay, what about you, Erlon? What do you want to do for the rest of the day?
I was going to go study.
Okay, excellent. Okay, one thing I want to do real quick. Now, Theron, you have a nice dinner conversation with Tana, but, you guys depart your own separate ways. You actually have to use the restroom. So you go to the latrines. Everyone has to go at some point. So, it's dark
Sure,
out outside
alright.
now. Everything's been shut, closed off. So you have to go to the latrines. So you do your business with the, at the latrines.
I have a feeling I'm not gonna
And
like
you
this.
come out, and as soon as you get right there,
Okay.
you hear a voice in the darkness. Now, I think I talked about this in the walkthrough when we first got here, but this whole place is pretty much lit up, right? So there's these torches that pretty much never burn out in a lot of the common areas. It's just always a light. But there are just lanterns and stuff that are used in our living quarters. But pretty much most of the whole place, there's this continual flame of these sconces of torches that are just up there, spaced every so often to pretty much illuminate the whole place. However, the latrines isn't so well lit. It's more of like in a dim light because of the light that's coming out from the hall through here, right? It's just kind of creating this enough diffuse light that it's not pitch black, but it's just a dim light. But you hear a whisper, someone going, "Psst, hey, you, over
It's
here."
a little weird, man. I
And
go
it's
in
a
there.
woman's voice.
Can a man take a whiz in peace? Alright. Alright, so he's gonna look.
Yeah,
So-
and it's coming from this direction.
And I can't see, huh?
Well, it's dim. You see a shadowy figure of definitely what looks to be a woman. She has a hood kind of drawn over, but you can see the locks of hair just spilling out from up front. But other than that, you can't tell any details from where you're at.
Okay. So Theron says, a little weird to be camped outside of a latrine when a man's using it, don't you think?
She says, "Oh, sorry about that. But you were finally alone, you see. Because you're always with someone." She says, "I've been trying to get you alone." And she says, and put you alone after you use the latrine. But she says, "I must be careful, you see." She says, "I have a job proposition for you if you're interested, and it pays quite well."
Sweet! Theron says, let's hear it then.
Dude, just take the damn gem and say you're gonna do it.
Dude, trust me. Theron,
Right.
I got this.
She says, "You see, I was not born here in Shadow's Hold. I was shipwrecked, just like you. But one of my memories when I was a child, before I ended up here, was that both of my parents were massacred by..." And she says, "I see that you travel with an orc." And she says, "I don't know why, but I feel compelled that I must have vengeance. I must avenge, in some way, the death of my parents." And she says, "I am willing to pay you with the family heirloom that was given to me by my grandpa if you would do the honors in that orc you travel with." Now, this kind of puts Theron probably in a predicament because you've also lost a loved one and you're, right?
Yeah.
So you definitely know what it's like to be consumed with hatred for someone where all you want to do is just in some way kind of atone or get revenge for that wrongful death.
Right.
And here before you, from what you can tell, she seems to be trying to be careful and no one else is even around. And she, I mean, you could tell with how her voice, like she was trying not to start crying when she started talking about how one of her last memories of her parents was, you know, them getting killed by orcish horde back in the Kingdom of Mysticka. And she says, will you do it?
Theron is going to look towards her, and he's going to say, I also know what it feels like to want revenge against someone who's taken everything away from you. And he's gonna say, do you know if this orc that I travel with was the exact orc that killed your parents?
And she says, I don't know that. They all look the same to me.
And
She says, let me ask you, can you tell one orc apart from another? A little bit of racism there, right?
Theron just chuckles to himself and he says, I don't know, this is the first one I've seen. So Theron shakes his head and he says, the only difference between my vengeance and yours is that I know exactly who killed. And he kind of pauses for a moment and he says, I know exactly the person who caused me all my trouble, because he's the one to reveal information about his brother, because he doesn't really care to talk about it with these people.
She says, you too have lost someone.
Yeah.
She says, we have something in common, you and I.
And Theron just says, Theron just says, the only thing that we don't have in common is I know who took everything away from me, but you're basing that all orcs are the same and all orcs deserve to pay for what happened to your family. And he says, that is not true justice there. So for that, I cannot help you.
She says, but do you not accept the fact that they're all filthy creatures? They are all just pure evil?
He says, well, this one saved my ass quite a few times. So I wouldn't say that. But if you're so hell-bent on vengeance, when we find a way off this island, maybe you should come with us. And you can try to seek, and you may, once again, find the vengeance that you seek.
She says, I appreciate that offer, Theron. And she says, but what makes you so sure that you can get off this blasted island? You know how many have come before you that have sought to do the same thing and they end up dead? Or missing? Or both?
Theron, gives a loud laughter, and then he's going to pull out his trinket dagger. And he says, the reason why I will get off this island, and he's going to look at it with a wicked smile, and he's going to say, because I have a promise to keep. And then he's just going to walk off. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you walk away, and you're kind of listening for footsteps to... Yeah, you dropped the mic. It's a wrap. You walk away down the hallway. And...
That's the first time he's ever showed his trinket little dagger to anyone.
That is the first time.
But
you walk down, you're listening for footsteps behind you, and you don't hear anything. You think that your words that you said to her kind of dumbfounded her, or confounded her, whatever it is. But yeah, you just walk away holding that dagger, that silver dagger, ceremonial dagger that you have, and you just have this smile, and you just... you're kind of imagining that day that you will get revenge on Lyric. And yeah, so you had an interesting encounter there. So you move out of the latrines. So I don't know, you probably just spend the rest of the time just hanging out or whatnot. But I don't know, anything else you want to do for the rest of the night? Just kind of maybe chill at the eatery? Have an ale or two?
Actually, you know what? As he's walking away, he's going to ask for her name. He's going to say, one more thing. What is your name, girl?
My name is Yana.
And he's going to say, Yana, I do hope you consider my proposition, if I do find a way to get off this island, that you end up joining me, and perhaps we can find our vengeance together. And then he's going to finish walking away.
And she nods and she said, very much. Thank you, Theron.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Sweet.
Well done. All right. Now, move things forward here. So, Erdogan, you said that you're going to do some research.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. You rap on the door like usual, and you see Lul. again, opens it up, and he says, Erlon, and he's looking behind you, and he says, Deadeyes does not accompany you this evening?
I think he went off to drown himself in drink.
And he chuckles to himself, and he says, it's fun to do at times, fun to do. And he says, well, come on in. How long would you like to study for, sir?
What time is it in the day? Is it before meal time?
It's around dinner time. So it's around 7 o'clock, we'll say. You already went by your feet. So you just want to do some nice relaxation time to yourself and just read.
Hours. It's 2 hours.
Okay, so that's one book then that you'll read.
Okay.
I think we established it would take you about 2 hours of reading per book. Okay, and so go ahead and pay him 2 silver.
Okay, I'm going to pay him out of the slush fund.
Go ahead and subtract it out.
Okay.
And Noel says, I heard that Shipwrecked has had a very successful first day of hunting. Says, well done, well done. I hope the training helped you to be prepared.
Helped us to understand the skills and abilities of those spiders.
He says, good, good. Anything we could do to help you stay alive.
We all
And
survive.
it says, and
He says
at
we
this
all
time,
survive together, don't we? Did you hear that?
And he nods and he says, most of us. He says, truth be told, I actually fear for you, Erlon.
Me? Why?
Aye. And he says, while I admire your thirst for knowledge, I'm afraid that you are going to fall in the same footsteps as so many before you. And he says, do you know what I mean by that?
I get what you're trying to say, but it will not deter me.
And he says, and I do not want to deter you because it's good business for me, but just be careful, Erlon. Don't believe everything that you read in these books. So many lives have been lost for the knowledge that you were diving into. Just needless, unnecessary deaths. Says it's a tragedy, and he just kind of looks at the floor and shakes his head as he's seen something from years ago.
And I say, I feel for you. He says,
you feel for me?
Yeah, to have given up hope. It must be sad.
And he looks at you and just nods. And he says, what it would be like to have hope again. And he just lets out a long breath as he sighs. And he says, well, I gotta stay positive any way I can about my new lifestyle. And he says, enjoy your reading time, Erlon.
He says, thank you. I'll go get started.
And you see him just kind of come over here, and he pulls out a book, and then he sets it down and just starts reading it. And so, so you come over here. So you pick up where you last left off, and you were reading from the oldest to the newest.
Yep.
And you read 2 hours. Go ahead and make a perception check. Investigation. Sorry. Investigation. Sorry, what's that, CJ? Were you burping or something?
No, I was going to say something, but I'll let you do this. Holy crap, right on.
Nice.
Woo!
Right on.
I love 20s.
Wow. You do love 20s with your investigation rolls.
Damn right.
Okay. Very interesting here. In this tome, you're reading more about the survivors of one of these earlier shipwrecked parties. How they started, the story, the history as it's going on. They're building within Shadow's Hold, and it seems like they had a very structured way of building and planning the whole it would someday look like. And you even see a diagram of Shadow's Hold, and from what you're mapping out in your mind and what you see here, like they've pretty much met that goal and plus more, like many times over, and it's built exactly the way that it's showing in the diagram in that book that you're reading. And of course, there's many additions that have been added on over the years, but you just can't help but be really impressed with the organization. And, well, you know, I mean, you would have to be very organized to pull something like that off for years and to never waver from it. Now, the other things that you uncover in reading this book that is interesting to you is there is a wizard in there, a wizard who is shipwrecked. And it talks about how he discovers how in the matter of just a week, everyone affected with this shadow plague, and that he basically, no one dare not leave even if they had the means to without first finding the cure, because if shadow plague was somehow brought over to the kingdom of Mysticka, it would be a massive epidemic, massive proportions. I'm trying to remember the time frame here. So this is shortly after the coming of the gods, right? I think the earlier books you read just kind of talked about how it actually, these people were here before the coming of the gods.
Yeah.
Is that correct? I think that's correct.
Yeah, and that there were elves.
So what you right. So what you do notice though is there's a hole in the timeline here. From the last book you read to this, basically this whole period of history around the coming of the gods is missing. Either no one thought to write anything down, or maybe some bunch of stuff happened, or these tomes just went missing. But you noticed it. There's a gap in the time, and only someone of your skill basically would have figured that out. But there's also other things. There's writings in there of the wizard at the time that was in charge. He decided to go out and to try to survey the area and to explore. And he even writes down some specifics of the spell that he used to do this. And as you're reading, he explains how he formed these arcane words together to form like this 10-foot radius dome that's completely impenetrable, that, you know, people who are not inside the dome when it's cast cannot enter it. And it's basically just the specifics of this spell. And as you're reading, you're thinking, wait a minute, I think I understand how he did that. And you're thinking, I think to apply that to bardic music, and through music being able to manipulate the weave to achieve the same thing. So you're thinking to yourself, I think tonight I'm going to try to work this out. I'm going to try to uncover how to do this, because from what you can tell, the only way we're ever going to have a chance to maybe find a cure and to have enough time to investigate the island and discover everything that needs to be discovered, there has to be some sort of way for us to be able to safely survive a night. You know, if we could only go out, say, 4 hours distance, and then another 4 hours to come back, like, that's not too far. These islands are much bigger than just a 4-hour journey on foot. So you know that the key to our success is going to require you to master such a spell.
So he's going to get up real quick and go talk to Lul.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks Lul if he has like a chocolate pen and a piece of paper.
He says, I do. Would you like to borrow one, or do you want to buy one?
Well, I would like to keep it, so obviously I would like to buy one then.
Okay. And says, I don't have any, I actually don't have any charcoal pens as you're requesting, but I do have some black ink, which is much better.
Sure. But more expensive.
And you're kind of thinking, wow, how in the heck did you do it? Right. He says, but it's much better for, for spellcasters and writing in books. So he says, how many pages would you like?
I don't know. 5?
So 5 pages of parchment and like a quill with a vial of ink.
Sure.
He says, how does a gold sound?
1 gold? Okay.
Yeah.
Pulls the gold out and hands it to him.
And he just says, so you're going to start a journal of yourself?
Kind of. He says, I found something that I'd like to write down, and then, if you don't mind, I would like to pick your brain about something after I write this down.
And he says, sure. And it's just the both of you in this library right now.
Okay.
No one else is in there.
So he's going to go scroll.
Yeah, so you go and write things down. What do you write down?
He wants to scribe down the details of the spell to make sure that he really gets this right when he tries to create this, you know. This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, you copy, the arcane phrases and basically the methodology of casting the spell and harnessing it through an arcane focus. Yeah. Verbal somatic material. So you write it all down, and as you walk back over to Lewell.
Okay. So then, I write it down, and I go back to Lewell, and I say, so there is a gap in the beginning of these histories in the books. Have you noticed this?
He says a gap. He says, no, that's not possible.
I assure you there is.
And he looks at you curiously, and he says, well, in all my time managing the library, you're the first that has ever brought this up to me.
He says there seems to be a gap from the history of before the coming of the gods, and then it talks about after the coming of the gods, but that time period of the coming of the gods is missing.
And he says, no, I think I remember reading that myself. They were building Shadow's Hold during the coming of the gods.
That was after, was it not? Yeah, you told me it was after, right?
Yeah.
He goes, no, that was after the coming of the gods. Is when they built it.
And he looks at you curiously, and he says,
I can show you.
well, if what you say is true, I would very much like you to show me. And his interest is completely piqued. And,
so he'll go over and show him what he found. Obviously, he'll be able to show him pretty easily the gap.
Yeah.
Now that he found it.
Well, let's see if he understands it.
Okay.
Man, that was holy crap. He says, I'm sorry, Erlon, I don't see any gap here. Oh, he bombed his roll. He doesn't see it. And as much as you try to show him, and it's clear as day for you, I mean, I don't know. It might be trying quantum physics to an algebra student or something. I mean, he's not seeing it.
So he says,
no, it looks...
I won't try and convince him anymore if he's not going to see it when I show it to him. So he says, do you have...
insistent that it's continuous timeline.
He goes, do you have books that are of this age that you either don't know where they belong or that are not in this library?
He says, no, what you see here is everything. We were very careful with the creation of this library and getting all historical manuscripts and tomes chronologized in this library. And he says, Erlon, I assure you, there's no gap in the timeline.
So you believe you have all the books?
It's all here. Absolutely.
Okay.
But he's wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to argue with him.
To you, it was just plain as day.
Yeah.
You've been telling lots of stories in your life, growing up on the streets and in this such story, you notice a direct, a complete gap.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And really, you don't know what to make of that. I mean, you don't, what does that even mean? But you know that there is a gap.
he does. So maybe I'll explain to you what Erlon's thinking about this. So in his own mind, he's wondering, there obviously are people who rule his people that may not want certain information to be given to people that may be holding these books back. That's where he's thinking on it. I mean, he's looking at you have this tight, controlled
Potentially
society. And I'm not saying that's how it is. I'm just saying he's thinking, that this may be the case.
Sure.
Yeah.
Although it does
Knowledge
make you wonder, too, because that Lewell stayed... Well, that he stayed Woman's Hall. And, he's been managing some time, and he is totally convinced that you're wrong.
Yeah.
And there is no gap. It's all continuous. All the history is there. There's not a single book missing. So, anyways, wow, really interesting. You rolled the 20 there. Yeah.
So
that's what you found.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what Theron was going to do when after that whole encounter happened, he wanted to go to the library too. Just so you know. Because he has some yellow moss he needs to study up on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay. I'm not sure why you would go to the... So...
Wouldn't I go to the library to find out?
Okay, so, probably not, because... Okay, look at... So the spiders and so far everything that is to be harvested, where did you go to figure that out? For example, Erlon went to woodworking, right? And found out which resources are needed for the people doing woodworking. You could go to stoneworking and find out what things are needed for stonework and so on. They told us about the spiders because that's a very valuable resource to many different groups. But I'll just ask you, where do you think the best place would be to go if you wanted to know more about this yellow, yellow fungus?
Well, I thought it was the library. I don't know if woodworking, stonework, or textiles deals with fungus. I mean, if I don't find anything in the library, his second thing he's going to do is just ask around.
You're wanting to research what that girl was having you try and find, right?
Well,
right.
Yeah. That glowing moss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember why. I don't remember
Yellow
what her goal was.
So that Hannah told you about that moss, and she's pretty much the expert on anything crop related or... you remember why she wanted it, right?
Oh, yeah, I do now, because she wants to grow plants underground, I think, right? Without the sunlight?
Right. She wants to do some experiments, right?
She also told you who reported
and she told you where to find it.
She also told them who reported it, though, were parties that had come back. So.
Okay, so I want to go to the library and see if I can find maps of any caves on this island. Did you hear that?
Okay,
it sounded like I cut off. Okay.
Yeah, you can go to the library. Just I'm not sure how you're going to go about finding it. So Erlon and Deda has been going on each end of the time spectrum and just moving in, but they're in the archives. There's other tomes and books. So you knock on the door, and Erlon, you hear it, and we'll just say you're in discussion with Lewell. It's kind of late, Theron, but you're hoping that the library is still open. And when you think maybe the door's not going to open, Lewell opens the door and lets you in. He says, the library is going to be closed soon. Yeah, it's getting late.
And Theron says,
can I help you with something?
Theron
and you look
says,
over and you see Erlon standing there.
Okay, right on. Theron says, yes, I am hoping to find if you perhaps have a map of this island of some sort, of where things are, like caves. Or just landscaping-wise.
He says caves. He says, there's caves scattered all over the place. I don't think anyone has gone about mapping them out, though. He says there's many of them. no doubt many more out there are yet to be discovered.
And Theron says, do you have any maps of anything on this island whatsoever?
Sure, there's some crude maps that have been made over the years.
And Theron says, may I have a look at them before you close?
And...
Or perhaps even rent one out?
He brings back a scrolled piece of parchment that looks something like that.
Oh my god!
And then he goes on. He goes on to explain. There's not a whole lot. They can only, people can only travel so far out, and the people that have figured out a way to venture even farther, they end up not coming back. Because anyone, for sure, without a doubt, anyone who tries to go to this over here, they never come back. The people that he recounts, the historical archives stories and stuff, but he's pretty sure that there are a few that have ventured out over a day and they've actually made it back. Those cases are pretty rare, but there's caves scattered all over the place because there's a lot of, especially in this area that they're at, and one of the reasons why they chose to build Shadow's Hold here, and he goes on to explain, is because of the abundance of ore and rock and stone around this area, because it quickly gets up to be kind of hilly, rocky terrain about right here. And as you go up north, and also the hills and the rocks help kind of buffer them from storms hitting from the west of the islands. So, yeah,
and
he says, I don't think anyone's bothered to catalog all the caves, though. Why do you ask?
And he says, just trying to find something. And he says, have any of these parties that have gone in these caves say they've encountered any certain creatures in there that were not spiders?
And, well, I'll leave it up to the dice to tell that. Who knows?
Cool.
He says, yeah, there are some stories about some parties out there running into some other creatures that are not spiders. And he says, but almost all the stories are about these parties that go out into the night. And aside from all these shadow zombies that come out at night, there are other horrors and foul creatures that come out at night as well. And possibly some of these creatures live in these caves, out of the sunlight, and they come out when it's dark.
Okay. And Theron
and he says some such stories are these strange creatures that are kind of like they're kind of translucent, like you can see through them, and they have this draining touch, like as if they're sucking your very soul. And he says that's a direct quote from one of them that survived the tale.
That's nasty.
He says, other than that, I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay, and Theron just has possibly one last question, and he says, do you by chance have a book of these creatures that these other folks have encountered that I could read about? They've lived here for 10 years? God damn it, they better have something. Come on now.
Oh gosh. He says, sure, I remember the story. It's recounted somewhere over in the archives. Honestly, for the exact book or tome it is, I'm not sure. You'd have to go start reading.
Okay, so with the little time that there is left in this library, he's going to go try to find some of those books.
Gotta pay him.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, I have to close the library soon, though. If you'd like to come back tomorrow, you can get...
Okay. And he says, well, what's soon? Does he give an exact time, or does he just say soon?
Like in about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. So he'll just say, just give
So
me the.
I had you come to the library a bit later. By the way, I had you come to the library a bit later because when you left the latrines, I asked you if there's anything else specifically that you wanted to do, and you didn't say that you wanted to come to the library. So
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot.
I don't know if you're been saying that because of the discussion that Newell and Erlon are having, but
No,
that's why I had you kind of arrive at the tail end of that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, the library is about to close.
Okay. Well, he's going to try to get as much information and see if he can find one of those books before it closes within 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, the last thing he tells you, he says he's pretty sure it was more than 10 or any sort of story about that. It's like, I don't know, in selecting a book, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll just come back tomorrow then, whatever.
So, Erlon, you heard all that, every little bit and piece, and you're maybe interested of why, like, all these sudden questions, and you're kind of surprised that Theron is interested in reading through some of these books for caves and whatnot.
Never shown any interest before in reading.
Nope. Something happened, though, today that caused Theron to want to be in the library finding about caves.
So I'm assuming we're probably walking back together to go to our room.
So, sure, probably.
So he asked him, what's up with the interest in caves and the monsters that live in them? I mean, I agree they'd be a great place to kind of hole out for a night. But...
And Theron says, just trying to help the gardener out with a personal quest. And
and Erlon, you have no idea who the gardener is.
And then he goes on.
How much is she paying us to find this?
Yeah, that's what he was going to say. He goes on to say to Erlon, and she says she's going to pay a pretty penny for this yellow moss I'm trying to find.
Pretty penny meaning...
I think it was 1 gold per vial, right?
Well, he's not going to tell him that. He's going to say
him whatever you want.
Yeah. He's just going to say that she offered to pay quite a bit of gold for this yellow moss, so that's what I intend to find.
Sounds like if we run across a cave, we ought to grab some moss, huh?
And Theron just smiles and he says, that sounds like a great idea.
So Theron, you're hearing Tana's voice in your head as well. Well, roll me an intelligence check.
Intelligence. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well.
What do I hear? Blah, blah,
Nothing. I did that to see if you'd recount some important information that she told you, that you would mention it to Erlon, but you don't. Theron just doesn't. His mind is on waves and butterflies and rainbows. Who knows?
Right on.
All right. So, yeah, you guys go back to the room, and you guys get back to the room, and Ghoul is in there. He left for a time, definitely to get something to eat. And Deadeyes, you're back at the room as well. The captain is there. You guys are a bit late getting to the room. Actually stayed a bit past closing time of the library, just chatting with Lewell and Theron, asking him all these questions. But you get back, and you see this amazingly polished-looking black, what looks to be piece of plate mail, completely polished up and shiny, but you can tell from the horn that's sticking out that it's definitely from that black rhinoceros spider. And it looks pretty impressive.
I say, that's a nicely polished bug. I said, you're going to clean it up for him, huh?
And he says, and he looks at you and he says, I just think this will work. Says, I want to wear a suit of this stuff. And he says, look at this. Look how thick it is right here. And he's showing you, and sure enough, there's, you've seen possibly metal plates, iron plates that are made back in Mysticka. Kind of rare. It's a very hard, it's a very precious thing to buy. You've seen a lot of the guards of some of the nobility and the rich merchants employ guards wearing plate mail. But it's such expensive stuff that, and plus it takes someone pretty strong to be able to wear it around. But you could easily see how this thick black carapace from this should definitely work, especially the way that Ghoul has kind of worked on it and polishing it. And he goes on to just kind of tell you he was curious to see how it would look if he were to polish it like a normal suit of armor, like he would treat his armor. And it looks awesome. He's eager to get back out there, and he wants to try to harvest some more pieces. 9 more to go. So, anything else you guys want to do a long rest and turn in for the night?
I just tell Ghoul, wearing a suit of that, I think our enemies will run when they see you.
And Ghoul touches one of the spikes and he says, can you imagine someone trying to wrestle me to the ground wearing this stuff? And, you can see the sharp horn sticking out and what it would possibly look like across every almost joint, these blackish spikes sticking out everywhere. It actually might make him look even more like an orc. Definitely make him look pretty intimidating.
Deadly orc.
So, oh yeah, one deadly orc. So, Theron, I was going to ask you too, on the walk back, do you mention anything about Yana to Erlon? Or do you keep that to yourself?
Nope, he keeps that to himself.
Okay. That's
so
kind
Erlon,
of important. That's
why we got everybody here. I learned something in the library today.
Is this on your walk back or in the room?
No, in the room. With I said why we got everybody here.
Oh. Okay.
He says, I learned something in the library today. He says, I read about this wizard at the beginning of Shadow's Hold and after the timing of the coming of the gods. This wizard learned that this infection infected people really quickly when they came here. And he felt that they needed to try and remove it before you left so you didn't infect the whole population because it's very infectious. It'll spread very quickly through populations. He said, so one thing we need to probably do is start looking at finding a cure for this before we find a way off from here. He said, and the other thing I noticed, he said, this wizard also talked about a spell that he used to survive overnight. And I'm going to see if I can work on this spell and maybe try and develop it and put it to song.
What? Yeah, Ghoul is interested for sure. Well, actually, the captain speaks up first. He says, really? What kind of spell?
It creates a shield over the top.
He seems all excited.
That is impenetrable and will last the whole of the night.
He says, and then he cocks an eyebrow and he says, but where would we go if we can travel so we can survive a night? Where would we go?
I don't know. Explore the island more than these people have. I don't know. He said I just think it would be good to have that ability if we had to have it, especially if we end up getting stuck out there for some reason.
And Ghoul says, yes, it's good to know the layout of the terrain. Things about the place that you live. Get all the information. Then you plan strategy. And, from his military experience speaking there. Deadeyes, do you have anything to input?
Seems like a pretty useful spell.
Yeah, he answered.
Okay. So how long, the captain asks you, how long do you think it would take you to figure out such a spell?
I have the feeling that this is going to take a little bit of time. I'll have to think it over the next few days and see if I can figure out how to develop it.
He says, so we're going back out hunting in the morning?
That was my plan, if that's what you guys want to do. I'm planning on trying to get out first thing.
Hot balls, dead spiders.
Yes. And he says, and he pats that black carapace, gently. And you notice that Theron seems to be wounded still. Are you completely out of magic?
Yes, I am. I am completely depleted.
So there's basically no more healing at all. So,
Oh boy.
all right. So unless there's objections, we do a long rest and we turn in for the night.
All right.
Okay. So we recover half of our hit dice. Theron, in your case, if you wanted to, you can immediately expend your hit dice to recover some hit points.
Yeah, I'll do one.
Okay.
Here we go. Come on, baby.
How many wounds do you still have?
4.
Oh.
2.
Theron, why did you do +1?
Because I have a Constitution modifier, don't I? Oh crap! No, I don't. Never mind.
Wrong
I was thinking
monk.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So just 4.
3 wounds. I have 3 wounds left.
Okay. Do you want to use your other hit die, or do you just want?
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, actually, I am
where
going
you're
to.
at?
I have so few hit points. I need all I can take.
Why wouldn't you save that for like a short rest when you can get Song of Rest or something? Just keep your 3 wounds, dude. Then you can get an additional D6 to add to that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have a lot of hit points. I don't have a lot of hit points, and these things can take me down quick if they get a hit off of me. Which so far our DM's been proven that he's willing to try and kill me many times over. So
Yeah.
I really should get
Not
as much
me.
hit points. I know it's the dice. I know.
So you know Erlon
almost
has
got
magic.
one-shotted by that.
You know Erlon has
I-
magic.
Yeah, and
if you
Erlon
want him
knows
to do
magic.
even more. So why would you not ask him to play his song to help you heal
Yeah.
more?
Like right now.
Well, the thing about that, Jared, is that Song of Rest is for a short rest.
Yeah.
Right, and we just
So-
did a long rest.
Yeah,
But you
You
can
could-
wait.
yeah, we just did a long
Do a
rest.
short
You have an
rest.
opportunity to use dice, but yeah, if we wanted to wait for an hour for him to do Song of Rest, I would totally let you expend a hit dice and roll a
Well-
d6 with it.
Well, okay, well that would be his call because Theron's not gonna,
Okay,
beg for
forget
him
it.
to play. Theron's not gonna beg for him to play a song for him to help him heal wounds. That's just not
Okay.
his style.
So yeah, just keep that one hit dice. I would keep that one hit dice
All right,
I would too.
in your
All right.
pocket as like just in case.
okay, I'll do
You don't want
it.
to deplete all your resources coming out.
All right,
Okay.
I'll keep it.
So it is the next day, and that means 6/14, 157 was a very, very eventful day. So it's now year 157, and the blood moon is officially over. Not like that really matters because we are not going anywhere at night.
Mm.
So
So before we head out, I want to pull Deadeye's aside and talk to him for a minute.
okay,
And he pulls out a piece of paper that was given to him by the woodworker guy. Let's find out. I got his name. Hold on. It was given to him by Thelm. And he shows it to Deadeye's, and it's about these certain kinds of wood and what they look like and what to look for. And he asks Deadeye's if he would help him while we're up there, help him look for this wood. To help him be able to build a new musical instrument to help his magic.
Sure, I can keep my eye out for certain trees and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not I'm not much of a naturey type of person, but
Sure.
you know, you asked me to look for a fish. I might be able to spot it, but I'll do my best.
Sure.
All right. Excellent.
So as we go up on the surface, obviously, then
Alright.
Deadeyes and I are going to be looking for that.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, so it's morning. You know, we get a little bit bite to eat. Everyone just go ahead and mark off the silver. You know, we definitely want to get some food in us before we travel.
Do you want me to just take the money out of the fund? What is that, 5 silver?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Why don't
Okay.
we just
Forgot
do
about
that
that, yeah.
and just keep your money?
Yeah.
We'll just pay for it out of the fund.
Cool.
Sounds good.
We still have 7
much is in
gold,
that
5
fund now, by
silver
the way?
right now. 7 gold, 5 silver.
Oh yeah, that's
Well, I
That's
just
gonna
spent
last us a
5,
good while.
so there was 7 gold, 10 silver. Now there's 7 gold, 5. Yeah. It'll
Okay.
last us.
all right. So we get up onto the surface. Day number 2. So go ahead, update your sheets to, you know, all your short rest type actions come back, your long rest actions come back, spell slots, all that good stuff.
I'm ready.
So we're all clean. Ghoul finally is full on hit dice. He has 4 hit dice because he only used 2 hit dice on the previous day.
I'm full as well.
And excellent. I think Theron's the only one that's down on hit dice.
I just have
As a
one.
resource.
Oh well.
Yep.
I don't know
Okay.
if I've ever used
Whoa! Why is my armor class crap? I'll change
It
that.
doesn't matter. Your AC 6. I have it written.
Okay.
No, I think what's happening, something's not set right on your sheet, so there's a script worker. Every time you load your character sheet, when you go back and roll 20, I think it's updating that to the incorrect value. So you'll change it, but then
Yeah.
something's not set correctly.
All right.
Oh, actually, I think I might know what it is. 1 second. See if I can fix it.
There's a
Okay,
custom
well-
AC right here that I can just do. Let's do that.
Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, Dex
Yeah.
plus Wisdom.
Yep.
Yeah, so you
I got
just
it.
check that. That's it.
Yep.
Let me see.
Heck yeah. Sweet.
Now it's correct. Excellent.
Right on.
I knew it was there somewhere. I just couldn't remember the name of the option. Okay.
Nice.
So we get up on the surface. Which way do we want to go?
Somewhere. Well, we could go this. We could. I don't know. Well, we could go the same direction we did last time, since we know that path is sort of cleared, and try to venture off further.
Sure.
Yep.
Does that sound good, guys? So we'll be traveling basically a little bit further out, unless, of course, some spiders have already been weaving
Yeah.
webs kind of in that same path.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go a little bit further out. So we travel for about an hour and a half. We are seeing just tons of trees. You know, you even have Zizek's Deadeyes flying up above these trees, and you know, you're just kind of seeing like a scattered sea of green and white. White being just spider webs everywhere.
Oh.
See if I can. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, Theron was just gonna grab his tree branch.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Grab a branch.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Erlon, do you think it would be horribly objectionable to intentionally start a forest fire in this area? Just burn everything out?
You might kill their food supply with it. Would be the only problem.
That's a good point, I suppose. It's always fish, but then there's those trolls.
I'm trying to show you guys.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Tree. Oh, that is sweet. Holy crap.
So this is a real life screen picture of a tree just completely surrounded with webs. So let's keep in mind, when we're walking around, we're not only just seeing these big spiders, but we're seeing little tiny spiders, just everywhere. But those are really just no threat to us. We could just stomp on them and kill them. We see as we walk in a lot of places, we see spiders just running across, away from us in a lot of areas. And, there's cobwebs just hanging down here and there. And imagine what this would look like if you were flying up above the canopy. You just be seeing just scattered sea of white and green. This forest is completely full of just spiders.
You sure we shouldn't have burned the whole thing down?
We're always on guard, but yeah. I don't know, it may not be a bad idea, but I wonder if someone's tried doing that. So anyways, just wanted to show you guys that. So we travel about a good 2 hours away. We're following the path, trying to remember where we went. And we go past all these places, go up on that plateau, and we just maneuver around, and we see those holes in the ground from the giant mold spiders, and we just continue on up.